Japan. He is known as the king of manga. He's done it all. If there's anything you really enjoy nowadays, more than likely those creators that made those things you like were influenced by this man. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. He's done Kikaida, Optimizer 3. Okay, you guys know Kikaida, that's awesome, that's great. Super Sentai, also known as Power Rangers here in Japan. He's also done Robo Keiji, which is a very cool show, and Animazement, which had a cameo in Kamen Rider recently, along with Optimizer 3. They showed up too. Oh, and Kikaida. Kikaida actually had a crossover in Kamen Rider as well. So, how he came along with this was Toei approached him and they wanted a TV show. They wanted something for kids to watch along the lines of all these other tokusatsu shows, but they wanted to do it a lot cheaper and have it focused on just one character. So he came up with an idea called the Skull Man. Now, Skull Man, it was kind of creepy. He had a skull on his face and open mouth, and it just seemed like all he wanted to do was just murder and kill everybody that did wrong. And like, yeah, that's gonna go over well with kids, right? So yeah, no, sure, totally. So anyways, eventually they decided to switch it over to a grasshopper motif, and we were graced with Kamen Rider. Now, Kamen Rider started in 1971, and it went until 1973 with 98 episodes. So, for those of you who don't know, Rider nowadays is anywhere from like 46 to 50 episodes, if that. So, this is the longest running Kamen Rider series to date. So it starts off with a gentleman known as Hongo Takashi. He is Rider 1, also known as Kamen Rider Ichigo. Now, what's really cool about Rider is they all have very defining traits, like things you can easily identify, so when you see other Riders, you're like, oh no, yeah, that's a Kamen Rider. So I'm going to point them out to you real quick. The most notable thing is Kamen Riders, they all have kind of like these compound eyes. You see how they're like kind of bug-like? I'm going to skip ahead and get another image in there so you can see him on his bike. This is his transformation. We'll get to that in just a moment. So Kamen Riders always have a belt, except for a few exceptions where they do not have a belt. Most main Riders have a belt. This one right here is known as Typhoon. Now, Shore Riders, most of them had scars or mufflers or things like that. Rider 1's always had the red one. Now, the other thing you can identify Rider with is they have some kind of weird mouth plate, usually known as a crusher. Kind of looks like a weird sharp teeth and whatnot. And they also have like this little tiny gem on the inside of the two eyes, just in between them, and some sort of form of antenna or a crest. Okay? So if you ever see a combination of all these items all together, more than likely it is a Kamen Rider. Now, Ichigo, when he would transform way back in the day, he would actually have to jump on his bike, get up to 600 kilometers per hour so his belt can pick up enough speed so he'd have enough energy to transform into Rider 1. They got rid of that pretty quick, and when I say pretty quick, probably around episode 14, because they had to introduce a new character. Before I go any further though, let me explain what Kamen Rider is. I'm telling you about it, what it looks like and everything, but what is it? So, Kamen Rider is about Hongo Takashi. He's a very skilled and very talented young man. Great motorcycle, great on the motorcycle, very smart, sharp, just great scientist. He's going for all his doctorates and things like that, and he's just a very swell dude. And there's this evil organization in Japan known as Shocker, and what they want to do is they want to find the best minds and the best bodies in order to turn them into either scientists or cyborgs to help them take over the world and globally dominate everything. So, Hongo was riding his motorcycle one day, and a bunch of Shocker mooks, which are these guys. Eee! So if you see these guys and they make the E sound, it's a Kamen Rider thing, I promise you that. So these guys found Hongo, they attacked them, beat the crap out of them, and took them to a laboratory to be turned into a cyborg, a Kaizo Ningen, or a remodeled human. Right before the brainwashing process, they tell him like, oh yeah, we're gonna, use you to go kill a whole bunch of people, like, the prime minister, maybe a president or two. You cool with that? No? Okay, well, mind wipe. And right around the same time as the mind wipe was about to go down, everybody started freaking out because there's a red alert, and somebody set off Shocker's alarms. This gave Hongo's teacher, who was kidnapped by Shocker, and saw Hongo there enough time to grab him and pull him out of there and be like, it's okay, you're going to be safe, we got you. Little did he know that Shocker had an idea that he was probably going to try and take him away, and Shocker killed him by sending out the Spider-Man. Not the Marvel guy, I promise you, not that dude. It's more like a man-spider kind of closer to dude. So Hongo defeats the spider monster. He goes to his mentor and he's like, thank you for saving me. And he's like, well, what am I going to do? I'm no longer human. I can't do anything. This dude's breaking faucets off of walls. He can't get a simple drink of water. He's not who he was. And this is the one person that he had any kind of ties to that knew about what he was going through, and he's dying. Right at the same time that dude's dying in his arms, that dude's daughter shows up and she's like, oh my god, I can't believe you did this. I hate you. That's okay, it gets resolved rather quickly. So anyways, moving on, Shocker also has a couple other monsters in it known as Kaijin, or, monsters. This is specifically Ika Devil, excuse me. He's a squid, and he's also the devil. He's a squid devil. So, this is like one of the oldest, most notorious Rider monsters ever, and I just think it's one of the cooler ones. Rider gets some pretty interesting monsters, especially around the time of Kamen Rider X, so we'll look it up there in a minute. So anyways, so moving along from Shocker, so around, after Hongo escaped, for around 10 episodes, he was jumping and kicking across Japan and completely destroying these monsters and just being a really all-around good guy. Now here's the sad part. The actor who played Kamen Rider 1, Hiroshi Fujioka, he was doing a scene for episode 10 of the show, and he was just riding the bike across a bridge, no problem, shouldn't be an issue at all, and the dude hit a bump and flew off the bike and shattered both of his legs. Whoops. So there's going to be no jumping and kicking from him anytime soon. So the guys at Toei are like, oh my god, what are we going to do? We need something new, and they had an understudy. They had him come in as a new character. They kind of brushed Ichigo to the side, like, no, he's there somewhere. And we were introduced to Ichimonji Hayato. This is what most people know as Kamen Rider way back in the day. He showed up in more episodes of Kamen Rider than Ichigo does. So he's the first one to introduce the Henshin too. Back in the first 10 episodes of Rider, Ichigo would have to speed up on his bike in order to build up that speed to transform. He just needs to whip his arms around and he transforms instantly. It's really cool. So the cool thing about Nigo too is he's supposed to be stronger, he's supposed to be tougher and a lot more intelligent, but that's power level of the Rider is about the same as Dragon Ball Z, nobody gives a shit. So here's a pretty cool gif of Nigo doing his thing on his bike and beating the crap out of people. I also wanted you to notice something real quick too. When it zooms in on his mask, you should be able to see the actor's eyes. The cool thing about Kamen Rider was when he wears the mask, he actually sees out of these little tears under the red parts of the eyes. So they're like sunglasses material. You can see out of it just perfectly. But when they're doing stuff on bikes, you can't really have that. You want to have the best vision you can, so they would pull it out. So if you watch old Kamen Rider, especially with the new Blu-ray releases, you'll see some pretty interesting costume stuff going on in there. Or, somebody with their pants falling off halfway in the middle of a Rider kick. So this is my favorite clip from anything to do with Nigo. So he sees him, he jumps, Shocker bad guys are like, oh, we got this. No, you don't got this. Because, that's where all the vital engine parts were in the wing. So, Kamen Rider Nigo, he was around for around 52 episodes, and eventually they brought back Rider 1. Now, when they brought back Rider 1, they had to do some changes to the suit. Now, the issue was, when they were bringing back Rider 1, they were filming in the area known as Sakurajima. And in Sakurajima, they didn't have very many hardware stores, and they didn't have very many spray paint choices as far as colors go. So all they could find was black, and all they could find was green. So when they had the suits done for Ichigo, they forgot to paint them, so on set, they made them black and green. So there's a black and green version of Ichigo. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Oh, no, this one's a different clip. Well, anyways, there's a black and green version of Ichigo that's all black and green. He has no stripes, and that's known as the Sakurajima Ichigo. So it's known as the Revival Ichigo, too. Eventually, they do two new suits known as Shin Ichigo and Shin Nigo. So if you look right over here on Ichigo, he has two stripes on his side, and he has silver gloves and silver boots, okay? Now Nigo, he usually has red gloves and red boots, and he usually has one stripe down his side. And more recently, in newer adaptations of Rider, where they bring the older Rider suits back, they made Rider 2's helmet a little bit darker to make it a little bit easier to differentiate the two. Now there are so many different versions of the two of them that it's easy to get them confused. So much so that there was one episode of Rider where they were both wearing Nigo's outfit, but both wearing Ichigo's gloves and boots. So, okay, guys, cool, thanks. So, anyways, they were kind of like upgrades and treating them like they were way stronger than before. Pretty neat stuff. They also got to do the first double Rider kick, which is rad. That's actually the Sakurajima colors and the original Nigo outfit. The original Nigo outfit is just one silver stripe down the side and black and green, or green and green gloves and boots. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Long day. Anyways, so we're going to move right along. Who the heck is this? Who is that guy? So you would expect after Kamen Rider 1 and 2, there'd be Kamen Rider 3, right? Well, this guy is known as Kamen Rider Sango, and he was actually from a newer Kamen Rider movie from the Kamen Rider Drive series called the Grand Prix or something like that. Rider Grand Prix. So what he rode was a car called the Tricyclone. Now, he actually isn't the first time we ever heard of something known as Kamen Rider 3. So this is the one we got from the movie, and this is his actor, but in the TV show there was a character named Taki. in the original Kamen Rider, and he was supposed to be Rider 3. So this is Taki right here. He's an FBI agent for America. He's a really cool dude. He's like almost as Rider can get without having the belt and the mask and all that stuff. So he almost was Kamen Rider 3, but in the manga from Shotaro Ishinomori, he actually was Kamen Rider 3, and he rode a flying motorcycle called the Tricyclone. He had one red stripe going down his arm, and one stripe going down his chest, and a silver and white muffler. Now, unfortunately, that never came to fruition at the TV show because they wanted to do something a little bit different. But in the Kamen Rider Spirits manga, which is all about Kamen Rider Z-Cross, Taki actually gets to come back, and he becomes the Skull Rider. And essentially what he did in this story was, he went to America, he's told all his kids these stories about Kamen Rider, and then Shocker shows up out there and starts turning those same kids he was just talking to into these bat monsters. So because there's no way he can actually contact Ichigo back in Japan because he's all the way in New York, he decides, alright, I need to become Rider and take care of these kids because this is going to be bad for him regardless of what goes down. Rather be a hero than a monster taking him down, right? So what he does is he makes himself a motorcycle helmet and a whole bunch of body armor, a crazy 12-gauge shotgun, and these crazy like knuckle pieces that have shotgun shells in them. So when he makes a punch and he connects, it blasts them like as if it's a Rider punch. He also has them on the bottom of his feet too. Unfortunately, Taki gets pretty messed up pretty early on, but eventually as the comic continues to go along, he starts to get more augmented, and slowly he actually becomes a real Rider. It's very cool. Alright, so other than that, get out of my car. So this is the real Kamen Rider 3, this is Kamen Rider V3, and this is quite possibly the most popular of the Showa era. Kamen Rider V3 is super, super popular, not just in Japan, but also in Hawaii, alongside Kikaida. When Japan was airing Kamen Rider 3, somehow the airways were making it all the way to Hawaii, and if you turned on your TVs and put them on a certain station, got your antennas a certain way, you could be watching Kamen Rider in America. And this is back in the 70s, like how cool is that? They had no idea what they were seeing until they got it actually brought over and subtitled, and it's good times. So V3 is interesting because he's actually a friend of Rider 1 and 2, and his name is Shiro Kazami, and he lost his